On January 13, 2026, the four-time Formula One world champion was spotted at Portimao not in a Red Bull, but behind the wheel of a Mercedes-AMG GT3. In wet, unpredictable conditions, Verstappen pushed the car to its limits, exploring braking, traction, and cornering techniques rarely practiced outside F1. This wasn't a casual off-season run, it was deliberate, strategic, and entirely unexpected. What Verstappen is doing with Mercedes could give him insights, experience, and reflexes no other driver currently possesses, potentially reshaping how he approaches the 2026 season. The paddock is still processing it, but one thing is already clear: this test is not normal, and it could shock Formula One when the first race lights go out. Max Verstappen, already a four-time Formula One world champion, has once again pushed the boundaries of conventional preparation. While most drivers spend the off-season in simulators, physical training, or testing their own team's machinery, Verstappen took an unprecedented step. He was spotted driving a Mercedes-AMG GT3 at Portimao on January 13, 2026. This wasn't a casual drive or a publicity stunt. Sources close to the paddock report that the session was meticulously planned, combining wet weather handling, high-speed cornering, and braking exercises designed to enhance vehicle control. Portimao's undulating layout, with its tight corners and elevation changes, provided a near-perfect environment to test these advanced driving techniques. The conditions were far from ideal. Rain, wet track surfaces, and variable grip levels created an unpredictable testing ground. Yet Verstappen's performance suggested an extraordinary ability to adapt to real-world conditions, a skill that could prove invaluable during the 2026 season, especially on circuits where grip and traction are inconsistent. Engineers observing the session noted that Verstappen's inputs were precise beyond expectation. The timing of braking, throttle modulation, and corner entry points indicated not only natural talent but also a deep understanding of vehicle dynamics that goes beyond standard F1 training routines. The secrecy surrounding the session added another layer of intrigue. There were no cameras, no official team statements, and no media coverage. Everything was conducted quietly, creating speculation about his true intentions and the potential benefits he might be seeking from the test. From a technical perspective, driving a GT3 car allows Verstappen to explore principles that are transferable to F1 performance: weight transfer, tire behavior, traction limits, and handling under adverse conditions. By doing this outside of his Red Bull machinery, he gains insights without risking championship points or damaging his primary F1 car. Ultimately, Verstappen's session at Portimao sets the stage for the 2026 season. It demonstrates not only his commitment to maintaining peak skill but also his willingness to use unconventional methods to gain an edge. This off-season activity may very well give him insights and reflexes that other drivers cannot match, leaving the F1 grid shocked and competitors uncertain about what he's capable of once the season begins. What makes Verstappen's Portimao session so shocking isn't just that he drove a Mercedes, it's what he did while driving it. Reports from insiders suggest that he wasn't simply testing speed or laps. He was deliberately exploring vehicle dynamics, learning to adapt to traction changes, mastering braking points, and fine-tuning cornering techniques in wet conditions. Driving a GT3 car under these conditions allows Verstappen to experience vehicle behavior in ways that differ from a Formula One car. GT3 cars have different weight distribution, aerodynamic profiles, and tire characteristics. By mastering these nuances, Verstappen can expand his driving skill set, enhancing his ability to predict and react to situations in his F1 car that other drivers might struggle with. Rival teams were reportedly stunned when word of the session leaked. Not only was it unusual for a driver under contract to test a competitor's machinery, but the level of control and precision Verstappen demonstrated was described as extraordinary, with engineers noting how effectively he exploited the car's balance and grip in tricky conditions. The session was also highly secretive. No cameras, no official team acknowledgement, and minimal media presence ensured that Verstappen's activities remained under wraps. This secrecy increases the psychological effect. Competitors don't know exactly what he learned, giving him a hidden edge even before the first race. Technical analysts point out that such off-season work allows Verstappen to understand weight transfer, tire behavior, and energy management under extreme conditions. These skills, refined in a GT3, can be directly applied to F1 scenarios, particularly in wet races, tire management, and high-pressure maneuvers. Furthermore, Verstappen's approach demonstrates a new level of driver preparation. While most drivers focus on simulators, physical training, or testing their own team's car, Verstappen is experimenting beyond conventional boundaries, effectively using a different car as a learning platform to gain transferable skills. In essence, this is not just a routine off-season test. It's a calculated strategy designed to enhance driver performance, extend technical understanding, and create an advantage over rivals. Verstappen's actions with the Mercedes GT3 at Portimao may very well reshape expectations for off-season preparation in Formula One. This is where the story shifts from unusual off-season activity to potentially game-changing implications for Formula One. By testing a Mercedes GT3 in wet, unpredictable conditions, Verstappen is exploring vehicle behavior in ways that most drivers would never attempt. The unusual chassis, combined with a different weight distribution, aerodynamic profile, and tire behavior, gives him insights into traction, balance, and cornering precision that could translate directly to F1 performance. The strategic twist is in how this experience may benefit Red Bull. Although Verstappen was not in his F1 car, the skills he gains optimizing braking points, controlling slides, managing energy transfer under low grip are transferable. These lessons could help him extract more performance from the RB26 when racing in wet conditions or on circuits with variable traction. Psychologically, the session also gives Verstappen an edge. Competitors are left guessing what he has learned, how much this training affects his reflexes, and whether Red Bull will incorporate these insights into their setups. This uncertainty itself becomes a subtle but powerful advantage. The secrecy surrounding the session intensifies its impact. Unlike official F1 testing, telemetry and lap times were not available for analysis. Rivals cannot study or respond, and the learning is entirely internal. Verstappen could have accumulated data, honed reflexes, and built muscle memory in ways unseen by anyone else. Furthermore, the choice of Mercedes is symbolic. It demonstrates his willingness to step outside comfort zones, master unfamiliar machinery, and extract lessons that could catch rivals off guard. No other driver has reportedly undertaken such unconventional preparation, making this a potential paradigm shift in off-season preparation. Ultimately, what Verstappen did isn't just a test, it's a calculated, multi-layered strategy. It combines skill development, strategic insight, and psychological advantage. The F1 world may only fully understand its significance when the 2026 season begins, and the true effects of this off-season preparation are revealed on track. The real story behind Verstappen's Mercedes test goes beyond the car and the lap times. It lies in the unseen impact this has on the F1 grid. While fans and media focus on the shock of him driving a rival manufacturer's car, insiders understand the deeper significance. By testing outside his own team, Verstappen is learning nuances that other drivers cannot replicate. Rival engineers are quietly concerned. They know that Verstappen may have internalized insights about traction, weight transfer, and wet weather handling that are transferable to his Red Bull F1 car. Yet no one can quantify or confirm this. It's an invisible advantage, knowledge that exists in the mind of a driver rather than on a data sheet. The secrecy surrounding the session amplifies its effect. With no official confirmation, telemetry, or media coverage, competitors are forced into speculation. This uncertainty affects strategy, preparation, and even driver psychology. Teams must plan for an unknown factor, a driver whose skill set may have already expanded beyond what was expected for the off-season. Even veteran observers have commented on the rarity of this approach. It is unusual for a driver under contract to gain experience in a competitor's machinery, particularly in conditions that push the limits of control. Verstappen's initiative is as much about expanding his mental and technical repertoire as it is about raw speed. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. By mastering a car he is not familiar with, Verstappen reinforces his confidence and adaptability. This could influence race decisions, overtaking maneuvers, and risk management in situations where other drivers may hesitate. From a broader perspective, this session may signal a new approach to off-season preparation. If Verstappen's test provides measurable advantages, it could change how drivers train and how teams structure off-season development programs going forward. Ultimately, what no one is openly explaining is this: Verstappen's test with Mercedes is not just unusual, it is strategically disruptive. It creates hidden advantages, applies psychological pressure on rivals, and redefines expectations for what a driver can achieve in preparation before a single F1 race has even been run. Verstappen's off-season session at Portimao is more than a curious stunt, it has strategic implications for the 2026 Formula One season. By exploring a Mercedes GT3 under wet and unpredictable conditions, he may have developed skills and insights that give him a measurable advantage over competitors from the very first race. The data, though internal, is likely to inform Red Bull's approach to car setup, energy management, and wet weather strategies. Verstappen's improved understanding of traction, braking, and cornering dynamics could allow him to extract performance that rivals simply cannot anticipate. This is particularly significant on circuits where conditions are variable or where tire management is critical. Rival teams are now facing a new challenge, a driver who has expanded his skill set beyond the expected limits. The uncertainty alone creates pressure. They cannot be certain how much Verstappen's experience with the Mercedes GT3 will influence his F1 performance, which may lead to cautious or reactive strategies before the season even begins. Operationally, the test demonstrates that Red Bull may benefit from a driver who is practically pre-tuned for adversity. Verstappen's exposure to unfamiliar machinery and challenging conditions could translate into more consistent lap times, better tire preservation, and sharper reactions in chaotic race scenarios. Furthermore, this session may shift how the paddock views driver preparation in general. If Verstappen's techniques prove advantageous once the season starts, other drivers and teams might be compelled to adopt unconventional testing programs, potentially including cross-manufacturer or alternative category vehicles, a trend previously unseen in F1. The psychological edge cannot be overstated. Competitors now have to account for a driver who has trained outside standard parameters, learned from a rival car, and internalized techniques that remain invisible to the rest of the grid. This hidden advantage could manifest in overtaking decisions, defensive driving, and adaptability under pressure, giving Verstappen a subtle yet powerful advantage. In short, this isn't just an off-season test, it's a strategic move that could reshape the opening phase of the 2026 season. By the time the first race lights go out, Verstappen may already possess knowledge and reflexes that set him apart, leaving rivals scrambling to keep up and the paddock in awe of his unorthodox preparation. The final takeaway is clear: Verstappen's Portimao test isn't just unusual, it's potentially transformative. By stepping into a Mercedes GT3 in wet and unpredictable conditions, he has expanded his skill set, sharpened his reflexes, and acquired insights that could carry over directly into Formula One racing. The hidden advantage lies in the unknown. Rival teams have no access to the data, no insight into the techniques Verstappen refined, and no way to predict how these lessons will manifest on track. The result is uncertainty, a psychological edge that Verstappen carries into the 2026 season. For Red Bull, this represents a subtle but significant operational benefit. Verstappen's enhanced understanding of traction, cornering, and braking in challenging conditions may allow the team to fine-tune their car setups and strategies before any competitor even reacts. It's preparation invisible to the rest of the paddock, yet potentially decisive. The psychological impact extends to competitors as well. Knowing that Verstappen has tested outside conventional parameters and with a rival manufacturer's car creates an environment of caution and speculation. Rivals may second-guess their own preparation, creating an unseen advantage for Verstappen long before the first race begins. What makes this test even more remarkable is its secrecy. No media coverage, no public acknowledgement, and no official team statements mean that Verstappen's work remains entirely hidden. Only when the season begins will the full impact become apparent, and by then, the edge may already be established. Ultimately, this session reinforces Verstappen's reputation not just as a driver, but as a strategist. He is constantly seeking ways to expand his capabilities, refine his skills, and outthink his rivals. In 2026, this off-season test could provide him with the difference between winning and merely competing. And the broader lesson? Formula may first need to rethink off-season preparation entirely. If one driver can gain such an edge with a carefully planned, secretive test outside his own team, the strategies and norms that teams have relied on for decades might be obsolete. Verstappen isn't just preparing, he's setting a new standard, and the paddock is only beginning to realize it.